Let's push forward.
Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you the best build I managed to create for Lune. It's a full glass cannon build that can one-shot all enemies during her first turn. The build focuses on Lune and her Sky Break gradient skill, which deals extreme damage to all enemies in one hit. This skill is her highest damaging skill, and because the rest of her kit is very slow and doesn't deal a lot of damage, going for a gradient build is perfect. For the other party members, we are using Sciel and Verso as support units that can help us reach maximum gradient charges and boost Lune's damage by as much as possible, allowing her to use Skybreak on her first turn and one-shot everything. In order to make the build work perfectly, you will need to obtain a lot of pictos that give you gradient charge when performing various actions, in order to reach maximum gradient charges before Lune takes her turn. Some of the most important ones are Gradient Break, Charging Critical and Charging Burn. You will also need a couple of key items such as the Painted Power Pictos to get rid of the damage limit and the Cheater Pictos to always play twice in a row. We will get more into detail about what items you need on each character when we get to that section of the video. Another key element for this build is your party order. You want to make sure Lune goes last and then Verso and Sciel can go in any order, but since we are using auto death on Sciel, she will have to go first, otherwise she won't be able to go before the enemy and before Lune. You will have to equip her with the shortcut or revive paradox pictos to force her to play immediately after getting revived. In order to control the party order for Verso and Lune, just make sure both of them have first strike equipped and that you go to the party list screen and remove Sciel and Lune, leaving Verso, then adding back Sciel and then Lune. The order in which the party members are added to the list will determine the order in which they will go first, with the character that is being added last going last. Let's take a look at each character and see what weapon, pictos and skill they have equipped. Starting off with Lune, which will be the main character in this build. When it comes to the weapon, the best one is Saperim, simply because it increases the damage of our gradient attacks by 50%. For her 3 equipped pictos, use whatever you have available, just to make sure she has 100% critical rate. When it comes to skills, they are irrelevant since we are not using any normal skills. You can equip stuff like Elemental Genesis and any other damaging skills as a backup in case things go wrong. When it comes to attributes, since we are using Saperim, we want to max out defense, luck and might. For her active Lumina, you want the following: at Death's Door, Augmented First Strike, Auto Death, Auto Shell, Burn Affinity, Charging Alteration, Cheater, Confident Fighter, First Offensive, First Strike, Glass Cannon, Gradient Fighter, Greater Powerful, Immaculate, In Medias Res, Inverted Affinity, Painted Power, Powered Attack, Powerful On Shell, Powerful Shield, Shield Affinity, Solidifying, Stun Boost, Survivor, Tainted, Teamwork and Warming Up. That's a total of 259 Lumina points required, which is quite high, but you can reduce that cost by 40 by equipping the Cheater Pictos instead of its Lumina, and you can drop the Auto Shell plus Powerful On Shell plus Greater Powerful combo, which will reduce your damage but you will still be able to one-shot everything. If you have leftover Lumina, feel free to add in Roulette as well for even more damage potential, but only once you already have all the other Pictos. Moving on to Verso, which is our key support character. His main role is to break enemies and apply stun, mark and greater defenseless, which will increase our damage by 110%. His secondary role is to charge our gradient bar by having all the gradient charging Lumina equipped. For the weapon, you should use Verso because it allows you to apply the bonus damage from your perfection rank to your allies at half value. Pairing this with the Overload skill, which puts us at rank A instantly, we can apply a good damage buff to Lune on our first turn. When it comes to the 3 equipped pictos, use whatever you want, just make sure he has 100% or very close to 100% critical rate. We need this much in order to trigger the Charging Critical Lumina. When it comes to skills, there are 2 that you absolutely need for this build. These are Overload and Radiant Slash. Overload is a skill that puts us at perfection rank A instantly, which has a perfect synergy with our Verso weapon, because it immediately grants a good damage buff to Lune on her first turn. Radiant Slash is the skill that we will be using to break all enemies and apply stun and mark. When it comes to his attributes, they are pretty much irrelevant, but make sure you max out luck for high critical rate. For his active Lumina, you need the following: Burning Break, charging burn, charging critical, charging mark, charging stun, double mark, exposing break, cheater or faster than strong which has a much lower cost, first strike, gradient break, greater defenseless, marking break, painted power, rewarding mark, and stay marked. That's a total of 113 Lumina points required. If you have leftover Lumina points, feel free to add any damage increase Lumina you want. Moving on to Sciel, which is our second supporting character. Her main role is to double Lune's damage by using her Fortune's Fury skill. Her secondary role is to die and revive, applying burn and maximum break bar to all enemies, giving max AP to all allies and giving a lot of shields to Lune for increased damage. For the weapon, there is no must-have, since she is just a support character and most of her weapons don't provide much utility, but the one I recommend using is definitely Litesan. It applies greater slow to all enemies whenever you use the Fortune's Fury skill, which is the main reason we are using Sciel in our party. Having greater slow on enemies all the time can make your party take a ton of extra turns, although it shouldn't be needed. When it comes to the 3 equipped Pictos, they are completely irrelevant, so use whatever you want just to save Lumina points. When it comes to skills, the only one you truly need is Fortune's Fury, which makes Lune deal double damage on her turn. You should also bring Dark Cleansing and Intervention just in case things go wrong. For her attributes, they are completely irrelevant, so use whatever you need according to your weapon. When it comes to her active Lumina, you want the following: Auto Death, Auto Shell, Breaking Death, Burning Death, Charging Burn, Charging Critical, Cheater or Faster than Strong, Energizing Death, Energizing Start, at least 2 of these, Painted Power, Second Chance, Shielding Death, and Shortcut or Revive Paradox. That's a total of 126 Lumina points. If you have leftover Lumina points, feel free to add any other damage or support Lumina you want. Now let's get into the playstyle and skill rotation for this build. When the fight starts, a couple of things will happen. Sciel will die and resurrect, applying burn and maximum break bar to all enemies and giving 4 AP and 3 shields to all allies, while also charging a part of our gradient bar. Lune will gain greater powerful and put herself at 1 HP and applying Invertent to herself for a huge increase in damage. Now your first turn will be with Sciel, and the only thing you need to do is use Fortune's Fury on Lune, which will make her deal double damage on her first turn. Next up is your Verso. On his first turn, use his Radiant Slash to break all enemies, applying greater defenseless and filling up the majority of your gradient bar. For his second turn, use your free aim shot and hit one of the enemies, which will be marked and stunned, to gain a large amount of gradient charge and even fill it up completely depending on the situation. Lastly, use his Overload skill to gain rank A immediately, which will increase Lune's damage. Now your Lune will take her first turn and all you have to do is use her Skybreak gradient attack, which should one-shot all enemies on the screen. There are a few aspects you have to change when fighting less than 3 enemies to ensure you can still fill up the gradient bar before Lune takes her turn. You will have to use 1 free aim shot on Sciel's first turn and use 2 free aim shots on Verso's second turn. When fighting only 1 enemy with this build, you will most likely need 1 more extra turn to fill up the gradient bar, but you should still be able to one-shot anything. If you have all the items I have shown and did everything right, the build should deal at a minimum 180 million damage on a neutral target and 270 million damage on a target weak to light damage. With Roulette equipped, the damage can reach 540 million at best and drop to 90 million at worst. I will leave a link in the comments to the location for all weapons and Pictos mentioned in this video to make it easier for you to put this build together. That would be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and if you'd like to see builds for other characters. I have at least 1 more build video coming up for Monaco, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.